had a wonderful weekend, West Michigan. Good Monday morning. I'm Emily Scarlett.
And I'm Tanner Holbrook. Thank you so much for waking up with us and watching on 13 Plus. Chief Meteorologist Samantha J is here to kick our Monday off. Of course, a little chilly as you kind of step out the door this morning.
Jacket.
Yeah, a little bit cold.
Maybe we'll just call it cold.
Yeah, back down in the 30s and 40s. I mean, we're doing better than we were yesterday morning, where we actually had a lot of frost develop across the region. 4:43 on the clock this morning, and welcome back to 13 on your side. Our temperature profile this morning is still on the cooler side, especially for our northern inland counties, where there could still be some patchy frost developing late morning. As for Grand Rapids, we're at 45 degrees, 36 right now in South Haven. Our temperature profile over the next 48 hours or so, though, featuring quite a bit of warmth. Now, I will say models are trying to push us into the low 80s today. The only reason that I've kept us a little bit more reserved in the upper 70s for the most part is because we do have some wildfire smoke that's building in that kind of caps out our temperature. It doesn't allow as much sun, of course, to come through. As for tomorrow, though, more warmth on deck. This model, again, aggressive, pushing us to 90 degrees. We do have us forecast high in the upper 80s at 87. This also comes with an uptick in our dew points in the upper 50s to low 60s, so a touch of humidity, definitely a lot of warmth, and this all comes out ahead of our next low pressure system that's expected to build in, bringing us breezy conditions out of the south, but also bringing us a chance for some showers and storms midweek. Tracking that in my full forecast. Fire smoke starts to mix down to the surface a little bit more closer to your evening commute. So for the first half of the day, you should expect a bit more sunshine. And then by 6 p.m. starting to see that intensity increase. We likely will see some air quality alerts go into effect, potentially lasting all the way into our Tuesday morning and then returning Tuesday evening and into Wednesday. It will be along that frontal boundary that we do likely see that wildfire smoke push out, but that will also come along with our next chances for rainfall. Hour by hour forecast here. I fast forwarded to Wednesday. It will be dry today and tomorrow. That rainfall chance occurs early in the morning on Wednesday and into your Wednesday afternoon. I will say we are going to be very warm and very humid leading into this, with some breezy conditions that could generate some isolated thunderstorm activity and a very low end risk for severe weather. I actually think that this could end up being a heavy rainmaker more than anything else. And while models are really having this system fall apart the further south and east that it travels, we're going to have a lot of moisture present in the atmosphere. So I would gauge closer to these numbers that are further north for everybody, rather than some of these smaller numbers down towards Battle Creek. Regardless, a good soaking rain and maybe a couple stronger thunderstorms we'll be back into the low 80s for some locations by the afternoon hours. But starting off nice and chilly this morning, we're at 32 degrees right now in Baldwin. Some of our northern counties, man, they have not been spared of the frost this season. That's going to take a toll on any crops that are up there, but 39 degrees in Sparta. And then we do have to once again mention that wildfire smoke. It's still elevated in the atmosphere right now, but these darker areas of plumes to the west of us are expected to rebound into the forecast later on today. So while yes, we should have sunny. Good morning. Yeah, one of those mornings that kids are going to start off with their jackets and they'll be stuffing them into their backpacks by day's end. Temperature wise, Baldwin at 32 degrees again this morning. Patchy frost possible there. 38 in Sparta, 36 right now in Allegan. Underneath clear conditions, of course, not holding in any of our temperatures or our warmth from yesterday. And then into the afternoon hours, I expect us to at least make it into the upper 70s. We're going to inch towards the low 80s, but one thing that we have to mention is that this sunshine might not be all bright blue skies. We are going to see an increasing amount of wildfire smoke trying to mix down towards the surface throughout the afternoon hours. We have a low pressure system that's gliding towards us. It does not arrive to our area until overnight Tuesday and into Wednesday. 41 on the clock this morning, and welcome back to 13 on your side. If you're headed to the beach today, it is a colder start to our morning, but our afternoon hours will break back into the low 70s or upper 70s, I should say, trying to make it towards the low 80s. Now, in terms of wave heights throughout our daylight hours today, they'll be safe. 1 to 3 foot waves expected from north to south, but notice we do have beach hazard alerts. Those go into effect late this evening and continue on into your Wednesday morning, as wave heights are expected to continue to build to 3 to 5 feet as we track throughout your Tuesday, and then eventually 5 to 7 feet by Tuesday evening. And this comes out ahead of our next low pressure system, which is going to bring us shower and storm chances by early Wednesday morning. In terms of our water temperatures, yep, they could still be better. They're sitting in the low 40s for some of our northern counties and low 50s for some of our southern counties. So at least we're starting to see places like Saugatuck, headed down through South Haven, warm up into that 50 category, but nonetheless, the water's still on the chilly side. is that our wildfire smoke is going to try to mix back down towards the surface as we head towards our peak daytime heating hours. So the combination of those two things occurring together will likely hinder our temperatures just a little bit, which is why I've kept us in the upper 70s for today. Another thing that's going to deteriorate throughout the day today not only will be how bright our skies are, but also our air quality. So this morning our air quality is good, but by the late afternoon hours to evening hours and certainly into your Tuesday, we start to move into that unhealthy for sensitive groups. That's of course going to include children, elderly, pregnant women, anyone who's sensitive to asthma. If you had a hard time on Saturday or Friday evening, our air quality is going to be pretty similar to that as we head into the late this afternoon and into the overnight hours. Now our next low pressure system is tracking towards us and it's going to bring us some chances for rainfall, but we have to fast forward all the way to overnight Tuesday and into your Wednesday morning. Those rainfall chances will be heavy at times, potentially producing a couple thunderstorms as that cold frontal boundary passes through, and this will continue to be the case into Wednesday afternoon, I should say. So throughout the day on Wednesday, a little bit of our damper day throughout this week, with the rest of this week looking a lot drier. When it comes to a severe weather risk, though, I helped him out in his 400-mile trek that he was making, and we do have a relatively quiet day in sight. This will actually be one of the quieter days of the forecast period this week. It's cold out though still. Baldwin, 31 degrees. I do not like to see these temperatures in our northern counties this late into the season. Likely a good amount of frost damage was done this weekend with one of our coldest starts to June on record. We also have wildfire smoke that's going to re-intensify throughout the day today. Remember Friday evening and into Saturday, I think we're going to look pretty similar to that by
The great flavors that you'd maybe be looking for this time of the year.
Yeah, the watermelon, the mint combination there. Yeah, absolutely. And also a really cool meeting behind the name of it, right?
Yeah.
The Friend of Dorothy. So very cool. I'll try it.
Yeah, I love also that there's events happening everywhere,
Yeah.
you know, and it's hard to believe that we're like into that season officially where all these outdoor events and parades are going on.
We just needed to warm up.
I
Sam.
know,
Right.
yeah. June,
Seriously.
June marks that flip of the switch when we start to get into the 80s, which we are going to see today.
Yes, we do have 80-degree temperatures on deck. It's definitely indicative of having that wildfire smoke present in the atmosphere because we're not seeing the bright blue surrounding it. So that smoke, of course, going to deteriorate our air quality throughout the day today and actually become a little bit thicker into the afternoon hours. Now, temperature-wise this morning, we're off to another cold start to the day. Only 36 degrees right now in Hastings, 39 in Holland, and 31 in Baldwin. That wildfire smoke plume is still relatively strong. We have southwesterly winds that it's going to usher more of it into the forecast. 1 o'clock this morning, and welcome back to 13 on your side. We're already noticing the presence of some of that wildfire smoke suspended in our upper atmosphere. And what's going to happen here is as our next low pressure system inches towards us, I actually do anticipate it to mix some of that wildfire smoke a little bit further into our lower atmosphere, giving us back that smell that we experienced Friday evening and into Saturday morning of smoke, and also deteriorating our air quality. In addition to this, we also are just seeing increasing amounts of wildfire smoke coming into our area. This is our future model extending us through 6 o'clock this evening. Notice how we're starting to uptick a little bit into some of our higher categories here, and this does look to be the case continuously throughout our Tuesday as well, potentially into Wednesday, seeing these really dark shades track towards us as that low pressure system arrives to our area. The good news is that this will come along with rainfall chances and hopefully clear out the wildfire smoke Wednesday evening and into Thursday, taking us back to a bit of a sunnier forecast ahead of the weekend. That we have to note about today is that because of the presence of that wildfire smoke, we are not going to get as warm as what your app says on your phone or as what our models are putting out. And that is simply because we won't be getting as much of that sunshine filtering through the wildfire smoke itself. As for our dew point forecast, that does rise as we track into both your Tuesday and Wednesday with more humid conditions expected. This also comes with a rise in our wind speeds, starting to gust at about 35 to even 40 miles per hour throughout your Tuesday. And again, that's as that low pressure system itself arrives to our area, bringing us our next chances for rainfall. We fast forwarded now to overnight Tuesday and into Wednesday morning. This is 5 a.m. when we initially see the arrival of this cold front and its chances for showers and storms coming along with it, continuing on until about 9 o'clock at night. In terms of a severe weather risk, though, we do look to remain underneath that severe weather criteria or threshold as we.
He looks comfy. That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the way. That's the way. It's a very Garfield-esque.
Yeah.
Just polished off a plate of lasagna and needs to nap.
So cute. We don't see many cats, so we like seeing
Yeah,
Buddy.
we love to see all sorts of
Monday.
animals. Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Bye.
the kids pick up on what their parents are doing. So if the parents are reading and the kids see it, they'll want to read too.